Welcome back, everyone. I am Kate here with our monthly recap from the Doing All the Things Challenge, June 2025. I guess the first thing I want to say is I'm so thankful I'm done and no longer committed to, those habits every day. Not that they were bad. I actually really enjoyed the June challenge for a few reasons, right? It really set the stage for me to learn more about myself, what's important to me. And what I learned was that keeping, a faster pace on my walk is not what's important to me. What's important is that I am out there walking and enjoying and capturing as much life and hearts to share with everyone else. So June was a really good month. It was challenging in a lot of different ways, even really having to contend with, but shouldn't I want a faster pace on my walks? Yeah, but at the same time, I want to enjoy what I'm doing or I'm not going to want to do it, right? So I do want to let you guys know, I do already have something in the works for July 2025, already starting on that. So check out those videos. But let's go ahead and jump into the monthly recap for June, the Doing All the Things Challenge. So a lot of things, right? A matter of remaining sober, a matter of implementing a lot of physical activity, a matter of pursuing something that meant something to me in my life that was going to bring me joy, a passion project. And so I really enjoyed the challenge, but again, I'm glad it's over. But I do appreciate the knowledge that came from the Doing All the Things Challenge. Even though I had my hiccup day, my binge day, my indulgent day on day 15, again, still a ton of fun. And from that day, from that crisis day, essentially, we got data. We were able to see, okay, this is what's going to happen when I binge, but also this is what's going to happen when I get right back on track with those healthier habits. So June, the Doing All the Things Challenge was a very strict month. It was very much, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to remain determined to complete this challenge to the best of my ability. I'm so thankful that it gave me the push I've been needing to apply to the Guinness World Records. So with all of that, let's check out June. So June, again, just a lot of fun overall. I went to the 2 different concerts, was in environments with drinks all around me where I'm normally drinking. So, was able to refrain from that. And again, just a lot of self-care, that experiential shower, the sauna, the steam room. I did that, 2 different weekends in June. Loved the nature walks. My boyfriend and I went on our Saturday 1-mile walk, which ended up being more. So speaking of my walks, and again, even though the pace is not what's important to me, to an extent, it is still something I am going to take into consideration. But for example, when on my nature walks, that pace would be like a 30-minute mile, right? Because we're just out there enjoying, taking in everything, the life, the scenery, the sounds, the smells, just enjoying it. So that is really going to have an impact on my pace overall. But either which way, we can see that for the month of June, my pace was just over a 20-minute mile. And I did 63.8 miles in the month of June and a total of 34 activities. That's because for one of the weeks I started tracking my walks to the store, which again impacted the pace. So just kind of threw the pace out the window for the last week of the challenge. Essentially, I think it was like Wednesday, I said, forget it. I've really come to see what's important to me. So we've got my walks. Some additional activity was doing the Pilates 5 times a week. And again, allowing myself that flexibility with other options. If I wasn't up to doing 20 minutes of Pilates with a resistance band. And I think a few times throughout the challenge, I did 20 minutes Pilates without the resistance band, maybe only a handful of times or less, mostly with the resistance band. But then there were also a few days where I said, no, I'm too tired or I'm too sore. I'm going to do 10 minutes and a mindful cool down. So really just allowing flexibility, I feel proved to be very helpful during this challenge. Instead of saying, no, I have to do this, allowing myself that flexibility really gave a lot less pressure to the situation, thus more motivation to do it, right? So we've got the Pilates. Now here we can see where I did close my Apple Watch rings every day except June 1st. And then fasting there, and again, we can see where I had my hiccup. That's what I'm calling that day 15 in June, the day of indulgence and binging. We can see where I fasted for 36 hours weekly, with the exception of that weekend, day 15, the weekend there, the third week in. And I do want to point out the first week was clean fasting, like just water and tea, unsweetened tea. Now, after that, I started to notice, well, I can remain in ketosis and drink coffee with half and half. So that's pretty much what I started doing about the second week into the challenge. We also have my mindful minute there, done every day for the month of June. Now, my resting heart rate, we can see quite a bit of up and down, but again, a huge spike on day 15 where I drank and smoked weed and cigarettes. We can also see here the heart rate variability. Again, day 15, it just like plummets. I mean, drinking, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes all seem to have this major impact, right? I'm not sure which one it is. Probably all three at once are the culprit. I feel strongly, though, that it is the alcohol and, of course, the cigarettes having the biggest impact on my heart, my resting heart rate, my heart rate variability. But again, just to be able to see those differences there. And keep in mind, at one point, my heart rate variability was up around 75. And the higher the better. So to have it just shoot way down, not good, you know. But again, another lesson. It's nice to have the data to see, okay, this is how this is impacting me in ways I can't see. Sure, maybe I feel tired, but what's really going on inside? So having this additional data has been really nice. Here we have the 30 different plant list for each week. And as we can see, hitting that goal every week, coming in at 40 on that third week, very impressive, but certainly had to highlight the 30 different plant list being hit weekly. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff, right? What everybody I'm sure is wondering, but how much weight did she lose? So let's go ahead and break it down per week. And then I'm going to give you that monthly total weight lost. So week 1, I did lose 9 pounds. Week 2, we saw that 4-pound gain, right? And again, that was from the binging. Week 3, I lost 8 pounds. And the 4th week there, I lost 3 pounds. Now, losing 3 pounds after losing, these much larger amounts was like, is the scale broken? Like, what's going on here? But again, having to remind myself, losing 3 pounds is a much more reasonable, sustainable weight. Okay, just throwing all that out there. So overall, how much weight did I lose? 16 pounds throughout the month of June, gone. And with that, I went live twice, giving away, getting rid of 9 pieces of clothing that first live video. The second live, an additional 8 items of clothing given away, getting rid of, and still going to go live again here soon for those last 3 pounds. that I lost. So keep an eye out for that. And mind you, this was my first time going live, and then second time, and will now be my third. But very exciting thing to do. Took me a minute to get the hang of it. Turns out I was not hitting public prior to streaming live, but you live and you learn. And I wouldn't have really learned that had I not done it. So just another area throughout the challenge where I'm proud of myself. I did something new, I did something different and fun. And I'd really been brainstorming how I wanted to, showcase, like, I'm getting rid of these clothes because I've lost X amount of weight. So it just tied in so well to the Doing All the Things challenge. Really enjoyed, just getting rid of clothes, and will continue to do that throughout my posting throughout July. So certainly keep an eye out for those lives where I'm just getting rid of clothing, may even get rid of just stuff in general. So keep an eye out there. Here are some before and after pictures from when I started this challenge, and we can see some differences there for sure. Definitely noticed in how the swimsuit top is fitting, so check that out. So something I want to point out is I have this mole right here, and when I gain a bunch of weight, you can't see it because it gets tucked into a roll. So it's kind of like a neat measure, aside from weight, to be able to stand here and say, oh, like, it doesn't fold into the roll anymore. That's exciting. And I do want to point out too, in the previous pics, you can really see, just that my belly's like protruding out so far. But what I like right now is that we can see all of this space between my belly and the top of the swimsuit here. A few things to note that throughout the Doing All the Things challenge, my sleep was not consistent. We did see a huge improvement in my sleep compared to the first few weeks of the challenge, but really did not hit that goal very often. Another goal I didn't hit at all, maybe accumulated a few $100 toward it, or a couple rather, but that increased income by $5,000, again, completely random, had popped in my head. I thought, why not? It didn't pan out. That's okay. And then we also have the one day where I didn't adhere to the no alcohol, no weed, no cigarettes, but just one day of smoking, drinking, and smoking, basically. The most exciting week was week 4. While again, my pace is not the most important thing, it was cool to see how fast I can do that hill, my walk that I was doing 5 times a week. But also week 4 was the week where I submitted the application to Guinness World Records. So week 4 was a lot of fun. And again, discovering, like, I need more than to have the fastest pace on my walk. I need more in my life in general. So week 4 was really informative in a sense. I did maintain ketosis throughout the 30 days of the Doing All the Things challenge, with the exception of a few days after I binged, but for the most part maintained in ketosis, even hitting the large portion on the range for about a week. I think I was in that large range. So there we have a few more details regarding the Doing All the Things challenge for June. And then probably my most favorite thing from the challenge was submitting the application for Guinness World Records to set the record for having captured the most hearts. I think that, and understanding and allowing myself to enjoy my walks, were probably the most important parts for me of the Doing All the Things challenge. because these are things that really align with who I am, with what I want to be doing, with what I feel my life purpose truly is. So that discovery and that, action to pursue even the application for Guinness World Records has been something that's been on my mind for years. And to have finally taken that step and done it, it feels incredible. I'm like, wow, I did it, Still have not heard a word back there. So again, that's going to just tie into the ongoing videos that I will be doing throughout July. So certainly keep an eye out there. I'm just so excited. Honestly, a little nervous, but really excited. And then again, just discovering that, yes, I love to walk and I want to make it worthy in a sense, like make it worth it to be out here walking. So it's not a matter of disregarding my pace altogether, but really just finding a pace where I can, do what I'm wanting to do, run down a hill, but stop and video something or take pictures if I want. So by the way, the craziest thing throughout the challenge, I would hands down have to say, was coming across that dead deer. That was just so sad, and I was not expecting that, and it scared me so much, just completely startled me. You guys can see that in day 30 video. And I think part of that is because, again, just not expecting it. I was just trying to run down the hill the fastest I could, beat my previous record of 3 minutes down it. And so coming across that deer, at first I didn't know, like, is it alive? Is it dead? Like, what's going on? Just completely startled me. But also maybe in a sense, kind of symbolic, death, the end of the Doing All the Things challenge. It was just really kind of an interesting perspective right on the last day of the Doing All the Things challenge. And speaking of the wildlife, I really love how I was able to share so much of that with you all. The deer, kind of jumping the one day on the walk, the skunk that I didn't end up catching completely on film because I was just so freaked out by that too, as it was putting its butt and tail up like it was going to spray, and I did not want that. And again, another moment where I was more focused on, this skunk is messing up my pace versus, no, it's okay, slow down, Kate. You really want to capture this skunk. This is a cool opportunity. So again, a lot of clarifying, a lot of what is important to me, what do I value, is something I learned throughout the 30-day challenge. The Doing All the Things 30-day challenge was also about being sober. It was really, okay, I'm going to be sober. It taught me a ton of discipline, control that I know I've had. I just haven't wanted to implement it. And really allowing myself to put me first, The videos did become a bit overwhelming. I do have to admit it was a lot to record as much as I was and edit and post daily while also doing my What's Kate Cooking series and then whatever other videos I'd throw out there. So, but overall, a lot of fun. I had a great time. I do want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched, supported. Again, my boyfriend was a huge support, watching, liking, commenting on the videos, and I appreciate that, not only from him, but anybody else out there who is taking the time to explore the All the Things challenge and what I challenged myself to. If you all participated or, again, had your own challenge, let me know how that went for you down in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling now that it's over. I would love to hear that. And then again, make sure you stay tuned. Already have something in the works for July, so keep an eye out for that. And again, going live here soon to get rid of 3 items of clothing. Now, I have also considered, because I gained those 4 pounds during week 2, I was thinking maybe I should do because I gained 4 pounds, I have to multiply that by 2 and get rid of 8 pieces of clothing. My mind is always working. I'm always trying to just be creative and do something fun and exciting. So not sure if I'll do that, but again, something to stay tuned for to see what I do. I do want to again thank you all so much for your time, for watching. Stay tuned. So much still going on and in the works, and I'll see you soon.